I wish you'd tell me what we're
Hello,
talking
good morning. How's everybody doing?
about.
Let me just make sure we're live over here on YouTube real quick. Yes, we are live. So, hello. Well, it's been a minute since you've seen Elisabeth and I do our podcast. It's been an interesting year so far. Miss Elisabeth, welcome.
Hello, welcome.
My mother passed away on New Year's Eve. So the beginning of the year has just kind of been a blur. And so we committed ourselves to get back to it in March. And so here we are, and we're going to be doing a lot of these. But the very first one back, we definitely want to do something, obviously, about SEO spring training, which is coming up on April 29th, which is about 6 weeks away, I guess, maybe. It's crazy.
Say it isn't so.
Obviously tons of things going on around, all that whole event and everything. And, but we wanted to have this conversation today with everybody and give you a little update of what's happening with spring training. And then at the end, we've got a couple announcements that we'll talk about. But right now, can you give us a little update about accommodations and all the stuff on your end, Miss Elisabeth?
Okay. Sure. So the booking link is live on the website. So you should be able to go there. When you go ahead and register, it's going to add on the resort fee. That's something that's waived when you check into the hotel. So it's actually going to be just the room rate. That was something that we were able to negotiate to try to get a better rate for all of our attendees. So always trying to save some coin for you guys. So you can go ahead and use the booking link on the hotel. I don't know that there's a ton of places close by. There is like 2 other hotels. But we always obviously love for everybody to stay close, because that's kind of where the last minute get-togethers and meetings always happen. And, staying on site is always an advantage because you're all in the know. We all hang out together. Especially after hours, there's, I think there's times that you guys have, closed down the bar 2 a.m., all those great conversations that you guys have. So that's what we have for the hotel. Same hotel as last year. It worked out really well. Everybody had a really favorable response. They liked the rooms. They liked the location. If you guys wanted to head off for some nightlife, it's right there within a 1 to 2 block radius. So you don't have to Uber anywhere. You don't have to worry, about how you're going to get places. So there's that.
Yeah, I'm glad we finally got that. There is limited spots for the
Yes.
booking link. So you want to make sure that you get that. I'll be honest, I don't know how much the rooms are without the booking link. So I don't know how much last year you were saving a considerable amount. So I'm assuming it's the same this year. But yeah, make sure, even, I tell people all the time, if you're coming, get your hotel, because like Elisabeth said, there's not many options close by. But we definitely want to make sure that you get a room at the workable rate that Elisabeth has gotten for us, which is really cool. So, all right. As far as the speakers, we're pretty full. We've got 33 total speakers or presenters. One of the things that if you haven't been to our conference before, we have a main breakout area that's in the morning, a main room, so to speak. And that's where everybody's at from, 8:30 in the morning until lunchtime. And then we are providing lunches this year. So we'll all go to lunch. And then after lunch, we do the 4 breakout rooms. So the breakout rooms are one of the things that kind of sets our conference apart a little bit, because we can do what Elisabeth likes to say, choose your own adventure. And so if you want to go and spend some time in the automation room, actually, I should say the 4 rooms. So the 4 rooms this year are going to be automation, AI, search, which it's not really SEO anymore. It's search, because you got to do Google, the whole 9 yards. And then agency growth or growth. So one of the things that, so we'll have those 4 rooms that you'll be able to pick and choose, who you want to see on what day. It really works out nice because there's really no pressure in it. So, if you want to stay in one room, totally fine. If you want to, go to all kinds of different rooms, totally fine. If you want to hang out with somebody and network, totally fine. And then at the end of the day, around 4 o'clock, we'll all go back to the main room again, and we have some panels set up. So Friday, we have a Google Business Profile panel with Ben Fisher. I haven't really announced Ben yet. Ben was actually the last speaker that I received confirmation from. And it'll be Ben Fisher, and right now we're looking at Eldar and Joy Hawkins, obviously 3 powerhouses in the GBP world. But we'll definitely all come back to the main room from 4 to 5, ish, and go through the panels. The biggest thing that when the rooms will rotate, so 2 of the rooms especially. So the main room is a breakout room, so it's one of the 4. So when we announce what we're going to talk about, the set a little bit later here, it'll make sense. But those 2 rooms will change. So last year, the SEO room and the automations room, AI automations we had together last year. So it'll definitely be the SEO one afternoon on the main stage, and then the next one will either be automation or AI. So that's the only swap that we'll do with the rooms. Last year we kept them all the same, just had people rotating. It is set up to where if you want to see if you want to see Patrick Shannon one day and you couldn't get into him, but you can see him the next day. So the presenters in the breakout rooms actually do 2 sessions with you. So Friday and Saturday afternoon, they do 2 sessions. So if you miss one day, you can go see him the next day.
And also one of the reasons why we're kind of changing the location of the rooms is some of those were standing room only. Like there wasn't enough seats. So we want to make sure that we can accommodate everybody. Everyone has a place to sit so that they can interact and learn.
100%. So Chris Moore is our Master of Ceremonies again this year. He was phenomenal last year. If you don't know Chris, you'll get to know Chris very, very well. I call him a genuine human that just loves to share and do stuff. And, there's very few people that you meet like him, but we are so glad he's coming back. So that's really cool. And then, of course, Clint Butler is going to be there, and Clint will be doing our afternoon wrap-ups and doing some stuff around, helping people get questions answered and stuff like that. More of the facilitator of the group. He'll also be on the search panel on Saturday afternoon. But so far, the schedule is pretty set. I'm getting ready to send it to all the presenters to get their input and feedback to see if I need to move things around. I call it my giant chessboard. But yeah, it's the speakers are all there now. Last year, we did have a couple cancellations at the last minute, so we're kind of prepared for that, so to speak, as all of us that put these things are. VIP. What are we thinking? A golf extravaganza Wednesday morning. That's my favorite time. So I think last year we had 16 people golfing. So we'll golf from Wednesday morning until around 11, 12, noonish. And then we go out for the VIP fun day. And then we really haven't locked down the event, what we're going to do. Excuse me. But the VIP fun day is, of course, the VIPs and then all the speakers. You just ordered the VIP Yetis, which are like one of the most famous things about our conference. I think you have one there. Do you have one in front of you?
I always have one. Always.
Yeah. So
I carry mine all the time. That is, you will very rarely see me without one of my cups. But and I do rotate through the colors because every year we get a different color. That's definitely swag that everybody is coveting. It's not, a pin you're going to throw into a drawer and forget about. I know some of the other swag, like I'm always very careful in curating something because I don't want to add to everybody's junk drawer, and I don't want it to be anything that's not have a purpose or useful. I think that's the goal for anyone getting swag. The VIP event you mentioned briefly, we haven't exactly locked it down. I've got a couple of front runners we want to go check them out first to make sure it's going to be worth everybody's time, energy, effort, and all of that. But we do have we found something different. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to like ruin the surprise, but we may have found something that nobody else has ever done. And I'm a little low-key jealous that Joy did the hot ones at her event, because I think that would have been really fun. I love that idea. So I'm not sure if I can implement that, and have as much success as she did, but we may have found something. Pretty excited about that.
Yeah, for sure. And that's it's always going to be, it's the same thing with golf. It's still a little early for me to choose the golf and find the golf. Just because we're 6 weeks out, and obviously in Phoenix prices drop drastically after the actual spring training baseball is over. So, I don't want to go out and try to find a golf course and negotiate. We did golf at the golf course last year that's attached to the hotel, which is great. I'm just looking for something maybe a little bit nicer, a little bit better. But it was a great golf course for us because, we're all hackers at heart anyways. So.
Well, you guys have such a fun time. I know, was it last year or the year before? Glenn didn't even golf and he went out with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an opportunity to really kind of spend some time with you boys, connect, have fun, no pressure.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then Thursday the 30th is Tech Day. So something really big different that we did this year is we used to do just Tech Day the afternoon after the event was over. So it'd be like a Sunday afternoon thing. But we wanted to dedicate an entire day to it because there's so much good stuff, and then we can have so much fun. So in the morning, we'll have 4 or 5 presenters. The Tech Day is really open presenting, so anybody can do anything. So people can pop out of the audience and go up and show them what they're doing. It's just like an open thing. We do have some sort of, I guess you can call, structure, just to make sure everybody's just not sitting around in their own little groups and stuff. But and then in the afternoon, we really haven't figured that one out either. So in the afternoon, we're going to do some stuff with the tech people and the VIPs, because VIP gets everything. So the Tech Day is your speakers, the VIPs, and then the Tech Mastermind tickets. So,
well, there's not really an offsite event. So how it's structured is the Tech Day, and we have enough time to where you're not like limited. Like if it goes over, totally fine. And then that evening, that Thursday evening, is the welcome reception for everyone. Mm-hmm. So if the people involved in the Tech Mastermind want to extend the time period, and like, oh my gosh, you've got to see this or you've got to see that. I know, Corey and Andrew are just popping with all the stuff that they're generating with AI and learning and doing. So it's a great opportunity for people to really kind of see what can be done. There's no limits. And again, not recorded. You're not going to have access to it unless you're in the room.
Yes, but the Tech Mastermind 100%. So that's why some of this stuff really comes out of the woodwork that people are just like, holy crap. But yeah, so the Tech Day, like I said, it's just a day. We're going to do a bunch of stuff in the morning and then, hang out in the afternoon around the hotel, get into all kinds of different things. It's just a day dedicated to that stuff. And again, no pressure in the afternoon. We're going to treat it the same way we do everything. And, every time we do it that way, people just hang out and they do stuff. They open their laptops and 4 or 5 people around on one table. Really cool stuff. So it is the most popular day. So we sell more Tech Mastermind tickets the quickest at the beginning, and then everybody else is general and stuff like that. The Tech Mastermind is definitely the most popular day. So, I meant to say too, the VIP is running out. So I'm not sure exactly the full count yet. But at some point, we're going to shut the VIP off just because of the event. So we can't shut it off and then all of a sudden have 10 extra people show up at the event, and all that kind of stuff. So we are almost full on the VIP. So, there's a bunch of stuff out there. Get your coupon code or whatever from your favorite speaker and get your discount and get your VIP ticket quickest. So. Thursday, the reception. So the reception's everyone, and it's at the central part of the hotel. Last year was really cool because we had small plates and an open bar and stuff like that for people, a cash bar.
Cash bar, not an open bar.
Yeah, that's why I corrected myself. You guys drink too much for me to pay for it. But yeah, it's a great time. It's a great time to see who showed up. It's a great time to meet and greet and do all that stuff. And then obviously, it's free reign after that. So on Friday, May 1st is the actual event. May 1st is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Registration's at 8:00. We do have something that we'll show you here in a minute that'll speed up the registration. So it's not, I don't obviously want you to wait until the last minute, but hopefully we won't have a huge line like we did last year. That's the whole idea.
Well, and you guys have been really great. The attendees have been really great and gracious to, follow Allie's lead. She's in charge of registration again. She does a great job. She kind of keeps us all corralled. So, yeah, and she's going to be in charge. Her and Rachel will still be in charge again.
Yeah, for sure. You gotta corral them in early. And then as much as I can tell you about the presenters, I can tell you right now that Marty Marion's going to open us this year. So last year we had him in a breakout room and he was one of the standing room only. So we moved him back to the main stage. So you're only going to get to see Marty once. But he's definitely opened up a few events for us. He's, if you don't know Marty, which is, there's not very many people in our space that don't know Marty. Just a great guy to open up the event. So super excited. So, all right. You got anything else, Miss Elisabeth, as far as the updates?
Wow. Okay. Sure.
Sorry, I'm trying to delay our announcement here about 10 minutes.
Well, I mean, we definitely put a lot of energy and effort into it. You covered golf, you covered VIP, you covered Tech Mastermind. The networking event, I think, is really great for the welcome reception. The welcome reception is an opportunity for absolutely every single attendee, all levels, to connect. We really focus a lot on making sure VIPs and speakers, they get their time. That's pretty private. Tech Mastermind, super private, and high level, definitely a place to be. The welcome reception is where everybody gets together. We've all been to those conferences and events where the speakers just pop in, they do their stage time, and then they leave, and you never get a chance to interact. And that's why our conference is a little bit different, is because we want to make sure that all attendees, no matter what ticket level you purchase, can interact with everybody. Speakers, VIPs, Tech Mastermind. We open it up to where you guys can connect. You can make those relationships. You can have that network that you can rely on. If you get back home and you're like, hey, I know this presenter was talking about this one thing and I want to reach out on Facebook, and you're not going to feel awkward about doing that because you actually talked in real life, IRL, and you have that personal connection. Everybody's online. We're doing AI. And it can feel a little isolating at times. And so that's one of the values of the event that we are trying to foster and encourage, is those personal relationships. We've come to value our friendships, even though people are scattered across the country, across the world. It's always, we can reach out to people and be like, hey, I need help with this, or hey, I have a question. And that's the value of what we try to put together and facilitate.
Exactly.
You guys are in charge. I mean, we're just here to make it happen, right?
100%. And that's the whole thing. It's just, I tell people all the time that this is all about the value. It's when you put on these events aren't, first of all, they're not easy to put on, as you can kind of imagine, but
what? Me stressed? No.
Yeah, especially after 7 years, you think we'd have this down now. So, but it's just, but I've been to events. We've all been to events that the value just didn't seem to be, worth the cost. And you've got to take in, one of the things Elisabeth and I pay close attention to is all the costs. So, flight, hotel, food areas, so we pay attention to all of it. So, we're going around to local restaurants around the hotel to see if we can get you guys some discounts, some other stuff. So I think we kind of surprised them last year because some of the restaurants kind of struggled to feed us, especially when, for lunches and certain places for dinner. But still, you've got to look at the full package. And that's one of the things we've always done, whether we're doing our masterminds or whether we're doing our main conferences. What's going to bring the value? Who can I bring, or who can I invite that'll bring the most value, share the most value, especially around what's happening, around what's going on in our industry now. So, it's a full thing. We just don't haphazardly put these things on. The hotels that we put these events at, it's all about the networking. Elisabeth and I, we stay there. We spend a weekend. We spend 3 or 4 days there. We check everything out where people can be hanging out and doing stuff. And, last year, the pool's always a great hangout. And so, we want to make sure that people have enough places to get together, which is, one of the things that we pay attention to. One of the reasons I don't really like doing Vegas conferences is because it's very hard to get together with large groups or different groups. You can mainly get 2 or 3 or 4 people together to go to dinner or something. But, I don't think that you have the same opportunities as you have at a hotel like this one where everybody's staying there. And that's a nice.
Well, and like with Vegas, I know Vegas is one of your favorite places to go. You love the energy, you love people watching, and I get that. But there's so many places to go. There's so many opportunities. And if you don't have a central way to connect with people, you're like trying to randomly text, where are you going? Where are you going? And then, it gets a little bit hard to coordinate. Where one of the reasons why we like this, like I said, there's like 35 bars and restaurants within a 2-block walking distance. So you can always connect with people. You can always be like, hey, we're going to try this. We're going to try this. I'm personally reaching out to a lot of restaurants in the location right there because, again, they didn't anticipate 15 people for a sit down lunch, that kind of thing. And we're alleviating that by offering lunches. But again, dinners, you can't always get, 25, 30 people, into a restaurant for a dinner. It's a challenge. So
it is, and we want to make sure that we can accommodate people to do that. And last year was pretty good. The restaurants, especially around dinner.
Yeah.
I didn't hear hardly any complaints about people couldn't get in somewhere they wanted to go. And like you said, there's so many good choices. So if you want a steak, there's literally 3 steakhouses in 2-block radius. So it's a phenomenal location too. So, and it's an older resort. It's the original resort in Chandler. And actually the golf course next to it was the very first golf course in Arizona. So kind of gives you an idea of the history of the hotel. So it's pretty nice. Kind of brings us to the next thing. So one of the things that, talking about value and talking about when you put on these events. So over the years, we've done the whole gamut, probably more than any other event. A lot of people know that when COVID hit, we were literally 3 weeks from our live event happening. And so when Arizona was shut down, or the governor shut everything down here, we didn't really know what to do. Because obviously people were going to come, the event was just like poof, so we pivoted and went digital. And so what was going to be a 2-day event with about 20, I think I had 23 speakers scheduled. What was going to be a 2-day event with 23 speakers turned into an 8-day event with 72 speakers. And it was all digital. We had almost 900 people come through that event. And so obviously it worked out good there because people were stuck at home, that nobody knew what to do. The whole freaking world shut down. So, we were able to provide this event, during that time. And it really kind of set us off in a whole different realm of, thinking about what we do about people that just can't come here. And, for one reason or another, scheduling, we always kind of hit some people that have spring break with their kids. And, so anyways, we were really bugged this year to do a live stream. And we did a live stream 2 or 3 years ago. And I'll be honest with you. Huh? Was it 24?
2024.
And it was difficult, mainly because of the hotel, the bandwidth, the internet connection, stuff like that. So when you do live streams, you're really reliant on the internet connection, obviously. So we've got some ideas for primary and backups and stuff this year. So we are going to live stream. We're going to live stream the main room, and one of the breakout rooms will be on the Friday live stream. The other breakout room will be on Saturday's live stream, and then Sunday's live stream. So the live stream will also include the sorry, I brain farted here. It'll also include the panels, so we have the GBP panel on Friday, we have the search panel on Saturday. So we last year we recorded it, and whatever, it was fine. This year, though, the two breakout rooms that aren't included in the mainstream or main feed, there won't be any recordings or main feed for it. So whether it be the agency growth room or whether it be two of the rooms out of the 4 are not going to be involved in the live stream. And the reason for that is obviously just we can't live stream 4 different rooms at the same exact time. It's just logistically impossible.
Yeah, the logistics were a challenge in 2024. Having people managing the cameras, and in order to keep like expenses at a reasonable rate, like we're not the Tony Robbins level. Yeah, so we don't have that budget in order to do a lot of the great, wonderful things that he does and make the conferences as beautiful and flashy. So within our parameters of what we can manage, that's why we're making this decision. And we're taking the 2 most popular breakout rooms with the most valuable information. I'm not saying the other 2 don't have valuable information, but we're basing it on attendance, what people are focused on, what people are interested in, and being able to get that. That doesn't mean that the other breakout rooms don't have a ton of value, because I can assure you, when you're in them, you will see and hear a lot of amazing things. These speakers are very carefully chosen for their skill, ability, and knowledge. So
100%. So we are going to live stream Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. The conference ends at Sunday at noon. But so we are going to live stream, but we're going to have to limit it, obviously, for bandwidth. So the landing page will not be ready until 3:00 today, Pacific time. I'll put it up on Facebook and LinkedIn and all the channels that we have when the live stream landing page is up. We've got to do some tests with, Go High Level and all the main things we use. But it'll be up there, but it will be limited. We're not sure what that limit's going to be yet. We still have to do some conversations with our actual AV team. But I did want to get it out there. I get many messages all the time about, hey, is there any chance we can live stream? But this thing is going to be awesome. When you see the speakers that are just on the main stage, that alone is just gonna, it's crazy. Kyle Roof, Ted Kabitis, Michael Merlino's on the main stage this year. Charles Taylor, one of our great, Adam McChesney, Bill Hartzner, Adam Kroineister, Joy Hawkins, Chris Martinez, Ariel Cohen. I mean, the main stage alone is so power packed that it's just going to be totally worth the $495 ticket price. So there will be no coupon codes for the live stream, just because I know these things are going to sell out quick. And I want people to make sure that everybody has a chance to get in at the same deal, because one of the things that upsets me is I get a lot of people that say, hey, like they missed Black Friday because Facebook has me so filtered that they don't see some of my posts, and that kind of stuff sucks. I really can't do much about it. But I will tell you right now, there will be no coupon code for the live stream. It will be $495. But you will get other stuff with it. So not only will you have the live stream and the recordings of the live stream from the main room, that you'll also get, we built an app this year. So we actually have a conference app, and this app is a way for you to chat with people, a way for you to ask questions. For the live people that come here for the live event, in-person event, they're going to be able to schedule meetups. They're going to be able to make restaurant reservations. They're going to be able to upload videos and pictures and all. I mean, this app is pretty awesome. So the virtual the live feed people will have that same app, just, kind of trimmed down. Obviously you don't need to know where the restaurants are and all that stuff. So, so that's one of the things. And then another thing with the live stream too, is I'm also going to do 4 AMAs after the conference with some of the speakers, and you'll also be involved in those. So we did that last year and it was a huge hit. We had, a lot of people each time, depending on the schedule and stuff, but that'll be good to do. So one of the things that I want to make sure that people understand is that, when we put on these events, for people to take action. Like everybody says, if you spend money to learn, you need to implement. And a lot of these events, mine included or ours included, you can get bombarded like a fire hose. So one of the things that, pay attention to who you want to pay attention to, make notes, keep your notes separate and stuff. So Simon Cornelius might even do that this year, but he comes on at the very beginning to kind of teach you how to navigate through what you're getting ready to learn to make implementation easier. So, and then with AI right now, just put all this stuff in Claude and let it spit out all kinds of different priorities. So, so we are excited to announce that we are going to do the live feed this year. We didn't last year just because of all the problems the year before, but this is a new hotel. We've got a better plan as far as, backups for bandwidth and stuff like that. So we're looking forward to it, but coming in live and coming in person is still going to have a much greater effect because you're going to get to experience the whole package. But I do know people that are friends of mine that have come to our conference every year that can't make it this year. So they would love a live feed. So we're going to do it for them. So if you have any questions around there, hi, Marty. Good to see you, my friend. We just announced Marty's opening up the event Friday morning. But yeah, so the live stream is going to be posted at 3:00 today, 3:00 Pacific time, and the landing page will be ready. And like I said, we're going to probably limit it to around, I'm guessing 50. But again, get in there quick if you want the live feed. If you get the live feed and want to come to the main event, you change your mind, of course, we'll put that $4.95 towards the ticket price or whatever. So we're not doing that as far as flexibility. We'll be flexible with that. Here's another thing, though. If you sign up for the live feed and you can't make it or don't make it, we're going to have to discuss one-on-one refunds. Because you took somebody's spot that somebody else could have had. Obviously, we understand about emergencies and medical stuff. We've dealt with that in the past. But if you take a spot and you don't show up and then you want a refund afterwards, we're going to have a conversation about that, because that's one of my big pet peeves. If you can't make it, totally get it. If you need to cancel, you need to contact us and tell us the reason and stuff, so we can either open it up for another person or whatever. But just be respectful, because anything that you have that has a limit, just make sure that shit happens. I understand that. We get that. But we have had a couple of people purposely, I wouldn't say purposely, but they didn't have an excuse why they didn't show up. So sorry, it doesn't happen that way.
Who are some of the new speakers that you haven't had before? I know you mentioned Joy, and I know you mentioned Ariel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but definitely. I was just going to go through that. So some of the new people that we had this year, excuse me. And you got to understand, I think this year I had over almost 90 people want to speak at this event. So, and it is a moving chessboard I started this in August last year. So there's certain speakers that I definitely ask, especially if they couldn't make it the year before, like Pete Kleingen. Pete actually filled in as an emergency last year, but he was actually one of the first ones I was going to ask for 2026. So Pete's not typically new. It's just he wasn't announced. I literally went up to him Friday at the event and said, "Pete, you're on." So he was gracious enough to be good. Chris Martinez. Elisabeth and I started down this trek a couple years ago of getting our agency, or looking how we're going to exit our agency. And so and the more we got into it, the more we realized that not only are we not ready, but all of our colleagues and friends and people that also have agencies probably aren't ready. So, it was an interesting. So for a year, we went to specific events on getting our agency to a better position to either sell or roll up, or there's all kinds of different exits you can do. But Chris Martinez is going to come teach us about that. He owns a company called Bloom, and that's all they do is help businesses get ready to sell. And it's pretty awesome. We went to his event in San Diego. He does it every 6 months, and it's one of the best events we've been to, especially around growth and around preparedness. And he brings in some really good speakers for his event also. Let me see here. Jacob Kentner, our buddy from Canada. We got a couple Canadians coming in. Jacob's one of our favorite people. He's not new, but it's been a while. He hasn't been there. So Ben Fisher, I haven't officially announced Ben. We just, Ben just agreed to come over here last week. Ben is, he's a Google Business Profile Diamond Product Expert. So he spoke at Lisa P's event a few weeks ago, and I was just floored. I knew people were out there like that deal with the Google stuff and deal with the maps and all the different issues and problems that we all hate and despise. But he's an awesome resource. So he's actually going to be
all the things that we love. I mean, we love Google, right?
Well, yeah, I guess, if you want to say that. So, but Ben's going to come in. He's going to be part of the panel the first day on Friday. But he'll be there the whole event. So he's going to be a huge resource for you guys. Daryl Osborne. Daryl spoke at our digital event that we had a couple months ago, but this will be the first one that he comes live. Daryl and I and Clint and a few others have been down the schema world for years. And he even takes it a little bit further as far as different aspects of connections and stuff you can do. But I'm super excited he's coming in live to teach us and stuff. And he's one of those guys that teach all kinds of things. And so he has his own private group, and so I'm really looking forward to what he's going to show. What he showed at the digital event was pretty eye-opening. Dawood Bakari. So Dawood's coming over from overseas. He's basically, he's a CEO of a huge web solutions company. He was actually recommended from Mads Singer. Mads is a dear friend of ours, super supportive of our conference, and his is actually this week. So, and a lot of our presenters are over at Mads' event. But he recommended Dawood because of all the stuff that we're doing through AI, all the stuff that we're doing through different initiatives. So he's going to come over and teach us about more of the agency AI type stuff, which we're super friggin' excited about. Robbie Riz. So Robbie Riz has never spoken at our event. He spoke at the digital event. He sponsors and has sponsored a couple of years. But Robbie, you're going to see Robbie in the Tech Mastermind. Sorry, you're not going to see him any other place with the Tech Mastermind. He's one of those guys like, Dan Kurtz and some of these other people that are in the Tech Mastermind that, they just do stuff that's just so awesome, building tools, thinking outside the box, all the different things that we are starting to get into. We're super excited that Robbie is going to come teach us the stuff again. He showed us at the digital event was just like, wow. Joy Hawkins. Yep. This will be the first time Joy's come. And Joy's the GBP, queen. We've been friends a long time. We've been to Rockstars together, obviously. And we're super excited for Joy to come, especially if we can do this VIP event that we're trying to do. So I think Joy will probably like the VIP event probably more than anybody if we can do what we're going to do. Bill Hartzer. Bill's coming. I've been friends with Bill. Bill's been friends with the industry for years. This is the first time we've invited him to spring training, and he graciously accepted. Bill does everything. I mean, he's been around for so long. I know he's huge in domains, which is one of the areas that not many of us play. And, there's a lot of stuff. I'm not sure exact topic yet. Topics are changing faster than I can keep up because of AI. So I'm probably not going to have final topics until maybe the first week in April. So, they're just kind of, at the surface, and, hopefully they're not going to change too much. But yeah, I'm excited for Bill to come. I saw Bill speak in Dallas. Gosh, what was that? 9 years ago. And he talked about audits. And one of the cool things that I learned, I was also real big in audits back then, but he taught on mobile audits, and which I'll never forget, because I always, desktop audits and mobile audits. At that time, mobile was becoming first. Excuse me. And he taught about mobile audits, and I was floored. I was like, dang. Okay, so great. So, yep, Bill's coming. Let me see, Ariel. So, yep, Ariel Cohen's coming. She's an agency owner. She's really niched down into roofing, and she comes from I believe she comes from the Josh Nelson world.
Yeah,
sure.
She does.
Yeah. But she's going to come in. We saw her speak at Patrick Shannon's mastermind, and we've become friends with her. And I'm excited to have her come in, and she's just a wealth of information, especially talking about, how to help businesses grow. That's her passion. She not only helps roofers get more traffic, but she actually helps roofers grow their business, which is, I think, always the next step you need to do when you're niche down. Corey Hubble. Corey. Corey was supposed to speak last year. He couldn't, he had some personal issues going on, or personal challenges. So I wanted him, I asked him again very first time, and he spoke at the digital event. But yeah, so Corey's coming in, and Corey, the only place you'll see Corey is in the tech mastermind. So he does some stuff that's just really just next level stuff. And so, yeah, we're all looking forward to Corey.
Kyle's coming back.
Oh, so go ahead.
Kyle's coming back.
Yep. So that's what I was going to say. So Kyle's coming back. So Kyle Roof, Kyle's been friends of ours personally for a long time. He used to live here in Phoenix before he escaped the rat race and went overseas. He's always invited to come back to our event. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. This year it works out. So Kyle will be back. If you've never seen Kyle speak or talk to Kyle at any length of time, you probably need to. It should probably be on your bucket list to spend a little bit of time with Kyle Roof while he's here. But just a great guy, just an awesome guy. Aaron Grunke, he's coming. He's never spoke I don't think he spoke at a live event ever. He was at the digital event. He's doing some pretty cool stuff. He's built some pretty cool softwares that'll help your businesses. So we're gonna, he's gonna show you some stuff that he's doing. With AI and automation and vibe coding right now being so popular, I'm going to show some stuff that I'm building. So everybody's going to show some stuff that they're building, probably, especially on the tech side, tech mastermind included. But the whole idea is just to start thinking outside the box, start looking at what your agency does or your clients do that you can help make it better, make it more mainstream, make it more automated. Because that's all available to us right now. And then last but not least, Austin Hauser. So we saw Austin speak at Chris Martinez's event. Just crazy story. He's niched down. I can't remember his niche. Is it roofing also?
Possibly.
But Austin's awesome. His story is just kind of really eye-opening, especially if you're for any entrepreneur. He was one of the first people that I went to ask, even before I asked Chris Martinez. I went and asked Austin if he could speak, just because of the way he approaches stuff, the way he approaches businesses, the way he approaches growth. He's really, really awesome. We actually met him at, like I said, at Chris Martinez's event, but we were in a small mastermind together, a small group that Chris broke us into kind of before the event even started. And so I didn't even really realize he was this presenter at the event. He was just part of our group. And it was just really cool, seeing him going, hey, wow, speaking today. So, but he's a super guy. Everybody's just going to love him. So he'll be, most of the new people that are coming are either going to be in the tech mastermind or on stage, on the main stage. So Austin will be definitely on the main stage. But Yep. I mean, the lineup is packed. It's, we really spend a lot of time on who we want to present again. We've had people present and we've asked them to come back every single year. We've had people present that, we ask them to come back, every single year with a different topic. Because it's all based on, like I said, it's all based on value. And nowadays is different than any other year we've done. The last 6 years we've done this is, you could be pretty solid. There's going to be a lot of SEO, search engine optimization. But now this year, it's more like just search. Because you got to show up in the AI overviews. You got to show up in the search. You got to show up in Yahoo and Bing. The game has changed. And so when we are looking at seeing who's doing what and who do we want to present with the most value and who's basically got, people that are following them that are also being successful, those are the people that we want to have for you guys to learn from. A lot of people that I don't really turn away, but a lot of people, I don't know them. I don't know what they talk about. I don't know what they teach. So a lot of people that do requests to speak at our events, I've never heard of before. So I really try to dig in to see what people are doing, try to get an experience from what they are doing to see if it helped me. It'll definitely help somebody else. But that's kind of the way we approach when we choose our presenters and ask people to come speak. Obviously, I asked a bunch of people that couldn't make it this year, totally fine. So we'll pick them up in 2027. But the biggest thing is it's just, putting these things together. I want you guys to understand that you will be able to choose your own adventure. If you're on a growth path, we got people that'll help you grow. If you want to get into automations because you just love the whole vibe coding idea, you'll see people doing different things in different vibe coding platforms. I'm a big Replit guy, but I also know there's about 20 of them out there that could probably do the same thing or better. But I'm old and stubborn. I just find something and kind of master it. But the biggest thing, just, come to the event. If you can make it live, that's obviously the best way that you're going to get to experience SEO spring training. I tell people to come live so I can introduce you to our big family. But if you can't make it, of course, then you can do the virtual ticket, which will be available here in about 4 hours. And then
no pressure.
No pressure. So I've still got to build the high level funnel. Also, one of the things on the Friday is Haplin's coming. Haplin was there yesterday from Go High Level. He's one of the top trainers in high level. He's actually going to teach us on Friday some of the stuff that you can do with high level. I know a lot of us use high level. A lot of us have high level that maybe we're not using. So that was Elisabeth's case for a long time. But now we're so in depth with it, it's every single process. So we're super excited that Haplin's going to come train us on just high level, because there are things that, even we don't know about, especially some of the new stuff they're doing. It's an ever-changing product, so Sean, the owner, he's one of the most dynamic SaaS people I've ever seen. They're always making good updates, and they, fix bad stuff too. So their support's not great, but hey, gotta have one negative, I guess. So Haplin will be here again this year. The high level is a platinum sponsor. So we're excited about that again. And then we do have other sponsors. I think we have Lead Snap. We have, which one is Elias doing? Which one's Elias doing?
Elias is SEO Neo.
So he's doing the Neo. Elias has like 3 different companies, so I'm not sure which one he's sponsoring with. But we still have a few sponsor spots open. So if you guys want to sponsor, or somebody that wants to sponsor, we get to put it out there to our database is about 5,000 people. And with the app now, the app is really built around sponsors and their, and what they're offering. And, it's really going to make it easy for people to sign up and do stuff that sponsors have. And, that'll help obviously the sponsors and the attendees. So that a lot of that went into the building of the app that I did. So anyways, if there are any other questions, you got anything else, Miss Elisabeth?
I do have a couple other things. So I do want to mention that Zagio is sponsoring as well. Herc is coming down from Canada to present. Everybody loved Zagio last year. It was
Herc was the number one rated presenter last year.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then best friend Randy with 38 Digital Press Releases. He is sponsoring as well, and he will be there. There's a couple other people I haven't quite heard from. I know Local Dominator is going to sponsor as well. So there's some slots available, and definitely let us know how we can promote your business, your SaaS, your product. We're definitely happy to put it out there.
Exactly. So, well, this was fun. So we're back on board. So we will be back next week. Actually, next week, we're going to probably have a couple a week, because we are going to start having some of the presenters on with us to talk about what they're doing, what they're going to talk about at the conference, and start really kind of introducing you to these people. Like I said, we've got about 6 weeks left. So I've got a schedule to figure out, who we want, and, try to get through everybody before the end. But again, if you have any questions, any challenges, anything, make sure you reach out to either Elisabeth or I, and we'll help you. If you want to come to the event, we'll help you come to the event. Just, communicate with us. Just, we've helped people do a bunch of different things to get here. Obviously, if we can't help, we can't help. But, we do want to make sure that we have a different option with the live stream. So once that page comes up today, and get the live stream before it sells out, because again, that's not something that we can add on to. It's not like I can say, hey, let's bump it up to 200. Because it all affects bandwidth, and we all know that the internet's internet. So if we have 100 people max and that's it, then that's it. So I'm not gonna take the chance to downgrade the quality just to add more people, if that makes sense. So that's one of the things Elisabeth and I are very adamant about. We don't want to add to distract or add to depreciate. So, anyways, get your VIP ticket. Like I said, it's almost sold out. I wouldn't be surprised if we're right at the edge. But again, I haven't counted, just because it's been a crazy beginning of the year. But the VIP event and the VIP dinner, those are always two of the top things, because you get to spend time with the speakers, the whole day and the evening. So anyways, but if you guys have any questions, get a hold of Elisabeth or I. Elisabeth, is that all you had, or you got more?
I don't think I have anything specific prepared. I know you talked about the live stream. I know you did the app. I think the app is going to be a really awesome way for us to connect with the people that are there, because a lot of us have each other's cell phones, but then, I think the app is great because everybody will be on it. It'll be a lot more streamlined way to check in. I know in the past we've had paper for people to sign, and that's infuriating because we're a digital agency. And so we're trying to obviously upgrade our processes so that there's a digital check-in for, sign up, getting your name badge and your swag and all of that, as well as any kind of releases, photo release, all of the things. We've got a really great behind the scenes staff. We've kind of had a little bit of changes. I've got some help this year that I didn't have last year. I've had some of the girls that attend the event step up and help, and I love you girls for that. You guys are amazing. But I want you to relax and enjoy and not spin out with my stressors. So I do have a support person. Lindsay is going to be behind the scenes helping with a lot of stuff. She'll be there. You guys will get to meet her. She's wonderful. She's a local web developer that I've connected with. And I know that'll make a difference to have the right key people in charge. And again, our team, our attendees are kind of like our friends and family. So it's always been great, the personal connections we've made, and we're always looking forward to you guys making more personal connections as well. I just can't say enough about our peeps, all of the people. And then of course, Terry's going to do the big party at the end to close it out for the VIPs. There's a special shindig at my house. No pressure there, I'm sure.
Yeah, last year was the first year we did it, and I actually didn't even tell Elisabeth, I think, until the day before it. And
Okay, you didn't tell me, but the kids told me because they knew how I would react. And as any wife can attest, you cannot invite 60 people to my house with no notice. Okay. Like if you want to see me, you can see me anytime. But I have a house and animals and kids and all of the things. So just saying.
Yeah, but it was awesome. So yeah, all the VIPs and speakers Sunday night come over to our house. So that's another reason to get a VIP ticket. And it's it was like I said, last year was the first year we did it. It was kind of on the whim thing. I called the girls and said, "Hey, can we do this?" "Oh yeah, Dad, we can do this." So, but it ended up being really awesome, and so we will definitely do that again. So
I'll be more prepared. I'll have more food this time. I'll be able to accommodate people.
Yeah, who was it? Was it Eldar that had to order pizza last year or something?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, the girls put out a little bit of snacky stuff, but they did not realize it's right in the evening at dinner time, and you know how my brain works, and I've done like huge charcuterie spreads. So like I didn't get too involved, but I'm going to be a lot more involved this year. We'll make sure that I can feed people. That's my love language. So anyone that comes to my house, I will feed you.
Exactly. So, well, awesome. Looks like we're about done here. I don't have anything else. Do you?
No, I know we haven't had a ton of questions because we've been kind of MIA for a couple of months, and we do apologize for that, but just kind of recentering, refocusing. I'm sure you guys all understand when things happen in family, you just kind of have to get through it. But I feel like we're back on track and we're here. Jump in. We're always available for questions, that kind of thing.
Exactly. So we will definitely see you guys in the next few days. I'm going to try to do one here around the end of the week to see maybe I can get good old Marty to come on again, and Marty will kind of tell us how he's going to open up the event. Marty just got a new book or wrote a new book. Go get Marty's book. I can tell you that before I tell anything else. So go get Marty's book. Marty's just, amazing. He teaches people to think differently. And that's what we all love.
Who else has a book that might be coming out?
I'm not going to announce that yet. So,
okay.
I've been working on a bunch of stuff. So I'm gonna get to show a lot of things at spring training that I've been doing. I'm just trying to stay focused to get them done. So, but there's lots of things are changing. So, and we've got to be able to change with it. And so one of the things that we do at Solterra is we're constantly updating processes, updating our SOPs. Skylar's been doing a lot of work on that side, making sure that we can have everything in a central location, and just basically get in a better system, a better process. Because, we're feeling it like a lot of people are, that the floodgates are kind of getting ready to open because we're kind of moving down the path of, hey, what's wrong in your business? What else can we help with? So, and I used to ask those questions all the time, and I used to call myself an efficiency expert, and I got away from that for about 8 or 9 years. But now it kind of, is exciting that I can go back and have conversations with my clients and say, where's your bottleneck? What's stopping you from growth? And so those are the conversations that I like to have. Because you got to be bigger and better than just the search guy or just the SEO guy. So take care of people, take care of clients. Anyways, let's see Marty say. Marty said something here. Happy to open and bring something really, really special. Cool. So we're excited. So if you guys have any questions, reach out. The live feed landing page will be ready at 3:00 today. So literally 4 hours from now. Yes, the pressure's on Miss Elizabeth, and me, because I got to get the whole funnel set up. But just make sure, like I said, the live feed will shut off because we have to be respectful for everybody to have an experience, because people are going to be coming in from all over the world. We get that. So, and we're going to have to make sure that we have security in place so people can't come from all over the world because they don't pay, so to speak. Keep it secure. No hackers. Anyways, so thank you guys for everything. Thank you for all the support while Elisabeth and I have been through this time with my family. It has been a little bit rough, a little bit, kind of blurry, like I said at the beginning, but we're through it. We feel like we're back on track again. We feel like we've lost some time, obviously. So we're kind of running at 150 miles an hour right now, but we are looking forward to the event. Obviously, it is our favorite thing that we do. And we're getting ready to really ramp up all the different things we do to market the event and everything next week. I typically don't market during Matt's event. And people say we all have this kind of respect for each other that put on these events. So when Mads is over, gloves are off. But yeah, pizza, if you ever get a chance to go to Vietnam and go to Mads event, it's one of the best ones out there. So put that on your bucket list. All right, Miss Elisabeth, are you done? Are you good?
I'm good. Looking forward to a lot of the stuff that's going on. I'm really excited. You know me, I really dig into the VIP event and all of that. So I'm biting my tongue not to announce what we're looking at. I do want it to be a surprise, but I want to make sure it's like hitting it out of the park,
Yeah, there'll be some surprises coming here, in the next few weeks, just because of
no karaoke.
I still want to do the Saturday night karaoke, so I don't know. I still want to do that. Not that I want to sing. I just want to watch everybody else.
You're funny.
But no, all right, perfect. Well, thank you everybody again for joining us. We'll get the recording of this up on YouTube, and I'll post it out there. But it's like a concert. If you want a live stream ticket, you better set your calendars. Because these things, again, we can't extend it. We can't do any more. At least right now. Once we have a meeting with the AV team, that could change. But right now, we're going to keep it very limited. Just because we don't want people to have buffering. So, thank you guys. Have a great week, and we will talk soon.
Bye.